Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So this episode focuses in on the MTV television series My Sweet 16 or My SuperSweet16. So what I'm going to do in this episode, I'm going to, of course, give the factual information about when it started and, the reason, from what I can find about the reasons why. And then I'm going to go in more on the main focus of this show is the emphasis on the access and how it even used as a point of propaganda for a specific country to promote the example of how Americans see life and how they think about the world around them. And I would like for all of y'all to chime in about this. So either feel free to email me, find me, follow me on Substack, follow me on X, and of course comment in YouTube. It'd be greatly important and to me, and it would be greatly appreciated too. I appreciate all you listeners out there. All right, so let's dig in. Okay, so I'm going to go into the facts about My Sweet 16, and then I'm going to end with thoughts and commentary on it. All right. So, it says My SuperSweet16, and of course this link will be provided for you in this episode. So, My SuperSweet16 was a MTV reality show that ran from 2005 to 2008 about teenagers' sweet 16 birthday parties. Despite its name, it also featured other coming-of-age birthdays such as quinceañeras turning 15. That's what that means in the Hispanic culture. That's well known now, but to give the explanation of that, and 18 and 21-year-old birthdays during MTV's annual spring break week. But rather than just a backyard barbecue or renting out a party hall with their families and friends, the kids featured in the show came from wealthy families. And their parties were an outlandishly decadent extravaganza complete with high-profile musicians as performers, luxury sports cars as gifts, over 100 of their peers turning out, and so on. Expect to see these kids cry, scream, swear, and berate their parents over every little detail about the party. Excerpts have been used in North Korean propaganda videos about the supposed decadence of the West. Now, I'm going to touch on that too. So, again, this goes into the aspect of reality as a reality TV. It's prevalent even more so with TLC, but let's go back to MTV. And this is a prime example of the downfall of showcasing and celebrating, even allowing greenlighting shows like this. I don't know the essence of so far of celebrating, but green light shows like this. So this gets into the pulling at the fabric of what American culture stands for. So, it weighs in for other countries that are, that don't dislike us and give more gauge or give more range to say, hey, see, they're just proving the agenda that we already thought about them. And that's just proving the stereotypes that Americans or splurge, they're wasteful, decadent, and can't control their eating habits, so along with that other stereotype too. So it says the show aired during MTV's Big Bling era, where series like MTV Cribs showing off the homes of young celebrities, Pimp My Ride, where beater cars are given rap video makeovers, and various one-shot specials glamorize the lives of wealthy or lease their material access. However, the Great Recession of 2008 and the Occupy movement of the early 2010s pretty much killed off the interest in watching some teenage girl cry because she wanted to receive her sports car during a party, and not the day before. In fact, My SuperSweet16 is considered by many the point where MTV was oversaturated with these kind of shows. The series became prime parody bait, and even MTV got in on making fun of it. So they went off with the parody spoof of My SuperSweet16, a series made for MTV slasher movies in which the kids are gleefully taken down by serial killers and exiled. Another reality show in which the parents of former Sweet 16 stars, fed up with their kids' behavior, send them off overseas so they can find out what it's really like to go without. All right, so thoughts. All right, so I find it quite interesting with this series, particularly when I was about 18 or so. I would watch it because it was so outrageous, and to laugh too. And then also it goes on along the same lines of the show Bridezilla. So they're two different concepts, but they both are in the same realm of not being of shows that are lowbrow and they're not introspective, and they're just about just unnecessary drama or unnecessary everything. And so I find it quite interesting with My SuperSweet16. It, for the most part, it showcased kids that were influential with either the parents were influential in the music biz or they were musicians themselves. So it begs the question, were these shows just promotional tools to give the insight of how the music industry views the music industry culture and how they view what their family values are? It begs a lot of questions about that. But it's interesting too with the financial bubble under the Obama administration and so forth, and the financial crisis, and then going on to the impact of the financial crisis of we're seeing today. It starts to shift the reality of situation of what people find value in. And so people start to get into the sense of reality of what's really important. And so, 'cause shows like My SuperSweet16 embody the problems that, unfortunately, the American society, and it's not only the American society, unfortunately, the Western culture has allowed to be, part of the fabric of society. And so this gives the false ideas about what is deemed as important. And so, for instance, even using it as a propaganda, the North Korea, to say, again, that Americans aren't anybody to take serious. And so, to break this down even further, when America is seen on the world front, this could be an issue more than realized. It could be an issue on the hand of the military defense and the protection of that, to where are we seen as a strong defense? Are we seen as that in the world stage, to where we don't, well, other countries and then allies of our country and then the other enemies of the country, what are their perspectives about this? Do they think of us as serious or not? If they don't think of us as serious, then this opens the floodgate of so many threats to our country. Now, that's kind of facetious to say, but not really, because, it's something to think about, that to take note of and to protect, to understand that if you upheave yourself and, think that it's okay to have shows like this to highlight, even in jest, to just be a show to get the foreground about, guilty pleasure, or the foreground of access entertainment. I'm not saying, that's not what I'm trying to say. Entertainment, excuse me. Then what are we really saying about our values? And so this also, I'm going to go in and talk about even further. So on Monday, I'm going to revisit Stephen King. So I touched on Stephen King for the month of October, because I was weighing this out, saying, should I wait till next month to address him again, or what should I do? But I think it's a good thing to just go ahead and get this and talk about this and get this in the forefront too, because I think this really relates a lot to the subject matter. That's why I'm bringing it up now, about youth and culture. So on Monday, I'm going to focus in on it. This is an ever-present problem, and it's what I internally struggle with, and why is this a thing that he props up the imagery of sexualizing, and then the aspect of sexualizing the images of children, and that's in the subject matter of a lot of his prolific books. Well, most prolific book is It. And so that's something to beg the question of what are you saying about but what are your thought process behind it? What are you trying to say about children, and are you going on the lines of are you a predator, or what are you, because you get to the point where you take a step back and you look like, man, you are really pushing a lot of things that you shouldn't push. And it's even more prevalent that it looks like you're on that term when, I found out this recently, and I'm going to give thanks to the YouTuber that brought this to light. And then, of course, my husband was touching on it, but I'm, finding out things about this even more I'm really thankful for that. So, when the aspect of his books being banned, and then they're being banned, particularly in Florida and in the middle school and high school library, and you're pushing back and saying, they're trying to just ban books and they're against the fabric of society. What are you really saying with that? Are you saying that you are Are you saying that you are, pedophilic and you want to, harm children? You want to expose them to inappropriate situations, and that's your gain? And so, you look back, and now I'm going to end it on that. So tune in about everything with that and the facts I'm going to talk about, and get into a deep dive about Stephen King on that factor. So going back to My SuperSweet16, and it shows like Pimp My Ride, shows like MTV Cribs and things like that. What is being said here about the idea of youth and culture? Is it said that only access is what's important, and then the superficial reality of that is what is important? There's no real common ground of issues, or and so the network executives of MTV and so forth, they have the excuse of saying, "Oh, we only want to present what's here and now, what the culture of youth thinks about what's here and now." But you also have to take a step back and think about, that's good to say what's here and now, but on the other hand, are you really looking into the aspect of the culture of real issues? And so I think that goes along with saying to the problems that we are facing today. So we get into this aspect of people being out of touch of reality. So how did this come to terms to where this is more and more accepted today, and is being in mainstream culture, or out of the subculture? So part, it's more and more apparent that people are out of touch with reality. So, and it also impacts how people are presenting and thinking about ideas in the modern concept of living in the modern era that we do today, that we're living in today. And so it also gets to the aspect of government and our American government, and how the constituents And then, at even higher level, well, the constituents are very important to the aspect of how things are taken care of on the local region and states. And then when we get at the highest stage of the presidency, how is it that we have an administration that says, oh, the Bidenomics is working, it's been working, but yet and still, pinpointing towards Kamala Harris, yet and still you say, oh, it's working, but you flip it and you say, oh, when I am president, I will do X, Y, and Z with the making sure the people can pay for, pay decent, they're not feeling, they pay decent prices for gas, or they don't feel the strain of trying to decide what they need from day to day as far as buying groceries. You say that, but shouldn't you already have been taking care of this in your 4-year term? What is the lack of that? And then you go back and say, well, I never said I was the border czar. Or I never said, I think it's unjust to have a border. But yet, instead you bring it, you're making waves. You're suggesting that we need a border. And then a lot of progressive undertones of, well, not undertones, but progressive ideologies that she and policies that she wanted to push, for even the most ridiculous. There's so many of them, but the most ridiculous one pushing reparations, but being silent on it now, while that she is wanting to run for presidency. So it's very telling and it's very troublesome and worrying, because it's one of those things where, do you really care about the people? Do you really care about the republic? Or are you just saying what you need to say in order to get your own agendas pushed through when you finally get at the status of power? And so there's a lot that I ran off and said, but closing and reining everything in through my final point, we have to really pay attention to what we showcase in culture, specifically in the American culture. And so, of course, it's quite human and, to want to see shows like this, like My SuperSweet16, and then, because it's so outlandish and, want to laugh, of course, sure. But at the same time, when you keep pushing out content like this over and over and over and over again, it also begs the questions of, at what cost does this serve to our American public? And then, again, that when we're presented on the world stage, what do other cultures think and say, and how do they maneuver their philosophies about American culture too, from what they see as a representation of our culture? And also, I would greatly like to know what you all think about this episode today, and think about episodes like My SuperSweet16, MTV Cribs, stuff like that. I would love to hear the feedback from all of you. I'm still feeling wonky, y'all. So hang in there with me. So either email me, find me on X, find me on Substack, and of course, fill up those comments in YouTube. And I appreciate the people that listen to me on YouTube. And, don't be shy. Please give me comments, feedback. That's a great way to get it going. And that's the great part about it. And I think Tyler Zed Education, he makes great content. And I'm sure y'all know about him. But those who don't, you should check out his YouTube channel, Zedication. And then he also has another channel called Z Extra Clips or something like that. That it's new, and it's where he talks about extra commentary that he couldn't add in his regular shows because he posts every Sunday, I believe, every Sunday, Monday or Thursday, I'm not sure. But I think that's the rotation that he has. But besides that, just check out his content. It's really good. And then also his brother, D, is really good too. And you should check out everything with him. Because, he's really good at making a commentary about the world around us. And then, bringing humor to that too, and I think that's good too. And also the Black Conservative, he's really good too about that. Both of them do a great job of mixing in social commentary, but also humor too. More with Tyler Zed, but the host of the Black Conservative Perspective, he mixes in humor too. But they just do a good job, and I would greatly like for y'all who aren't subscribed to them to get out and subscribe and check out their stuff. And also, you enjoy my content, it'd be greatly appreciated if you like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and also you follow me on Speaker, Spotify, and those platforms. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, so this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care out there. Bye-bye now.